Hey there, welcome to On the Spot. Today I'm here with Jim Gallup. He works at U.S. Bank, and we met a few years ago back. I can't remember when, but he's an industry loan officer. Floor is yours, Jim. Go into yourself and go from there.
Fantastic. Stephen, thanks so much for inviting me to be on your show. Yeah, but we met a few years ago. I think it was probably it was pre-COVID for sure
Yeah.
in business, in the real
Mhm.
estate business. You may know that as far as who I am, I'm a Christian, I'm a proud American, I'm a husband, I'm a father. And for work, I'm a loan officer. I help people grow their wealth through real estate.
Cool. So you ready for On the
Yeah.
Spot, Jim? Go through these questions.
Let's do this.
Okay. We'll start with this one. What are your thoughts and opinion on the real estate market? I know you're a loan officer, but what do you think of present, future predictions going forward? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah,
You
I
see.
think that right now we have this great lockup where so many people won't do anything. They won't move. They won't refinance. They're just stuck because they have a low rate and they don't want to get rid of that. So I think that we might see some relief of that soon. I think rates are going to probably soften. These are my own personal opinions, by the way, not U.S. banks. But my personal opinion is that rates will probably soften through the end of the year. We'll probably get a Fed rate cut in September. That's what the markets are predicting. And I think that overall, what you'll be looking for in the Fed rate cut, remember, if they cut a quarter point, that doesn't mean that mortgage rates get a quarter point better. Your home equity rates should get a quarter point better. Your credit cards should get a quarter point better, but mortgage rates are traded off of the bond market, and jumbo rates are really priced off of cost of funds. Those are all influenced by the Fed, but not a direct correlation. And so what we're really listening for when the Fed does their rate cut is what are the commentary? What are they saying about inflation and about employment? Because those are the two things they're trying to control. The higher they keep that Fed funds rate, the more they control inflation, which they're concerned about. Although it can erode if you have too high of a Fed funds rate, it can really hurt employment. So if you lower that to help employment, then it can reintroduce inflation. So they're in a kind of a tricky spot trying to balance the two of those. I do think that you'll probably see a quarter point, which is sufficient. The Fed funds rate right now is at 4.5%. Core inflation is roughly at 2.5%. So you have about 200 basis points restrictive for the Fed right now. I think they could probably soften that without reintroducing inflation in a drastic way and still give a nod to the employers and help make sure that we have strong employment going forward. The other thing that I would tell you about the real estate market that I think is really interesting is that right now, the other reason people are locked into their homes is because there's a capital gains cap of 250,000 per individual or 500,000 for a married couple. That was put in place in 1997. So back then, $500,000 was a lot of money. It's still a lot of money, but in capital gains and equity, so many people have many times that amount, especially here in California, that they don't want to sell because they'd lose 25 to 30% of that roughly or more in capital gains. There's currently several pieces of legislation, both at a federal and state level, that are in progress that could increase or eliminate that cap entirely. And in California, there's a bill that's been introduced that would eliminate capital gains for first-time buyers. It's SB 601. That's kind of an interesting one to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
The reason I mention those is because if those make it through and we get relief in the capital gains cap, then I think you're going to see a lot more activity in the real estate market. You're going to see a lot more
Totally. I totally agree with that too. Yeah.
willing to sell their house, which allows first-time buyers to get in there and buy them, or the move-up buyers to move so we're going to have some relief in the real estate market, I believe, in the next 12 to 24 months.
Okay. What are your thoughts on Powell?
I think I know he's got probably the toughest job in the
Yeah.
world. His job is to set the price for the most important price in the world, and that's the U.S. currency, basically. And so, he's not an economist; he's an attorney. I think he's a little bit reactionary. I think he missed the increasing rates in a big way during COVID. And there was so much money that was being given out by the Fed. And when then you print all that money and you send that out into the system, trillions of dollars, it's going to be inflationary. And his quote, as that was happening, was, quote unquote, we're not even thinking about raising rates. And he should have been thinking about raising rates. So he missed that one. We're a little concerned that maybe he's going to miss cutting, although he's under a ton of pressure, obviously, to cut. I hope he cuts for the right reason, that the economy is the reason that he should be cutting and not going crazy. I don't think we need 50 basis points. I think we need 25, in my opinion, but he should do it for economic reasons. And I believe he will, not because of political pressure.
Got it. Cool. Good thoughts on that as well. You want to share a struggle that you went through in life or work?
Which one? Which one? I got into this business about 25 years ago, and I was on the mortgage broker side, and I did pretty well. And I started my own mortgage brokerage and was doing well with that. And then the mortgage crisis hit in 07, 08. And I had built up my brokerage to have 30 something investors or lenders that I would broker. The collapse happened, the mortgage collapse happened, and all of those went away. Virtually, one of those lenders said, we're not working with mortgage brokers anymore. There was one lender who called me, and I always was diligent about the pre-underwriting these loans to make sure that everything was legit. And this large lender was Wells Fargo, and they said, you've got a perfect broker scorecard. We'd be interested in you in the private wealth space, which was interesting. So when I met with them, they said, your job is really to find people with 7 figures in investments and encourage them to, work with us, and we'll provide these better terms and we'll do private banking. And I thought, okay, I really need a good job right now, because things were pretty bleak at that time. But I was thinking to myself, I don't even know anybody with $1 million, much less how would I get them to move money, but we're going to figure this out. I ended up meeting some people in the in the law firm space, and very rapidly became kind of the go-to for law firm partners and for professionals. And in a period of about 10 years, did well over $1 billion in mortgages just in the law firm space. From just having that meeting, and then everything that comes of that, the people they know, the people they refer me to, the agents that we're working with, all of that became this snowball. But the struggle was to answer your question, the struggle was in, what do I do now that I've set up back when I was a broker and I didn't do anything wrong, but the whole industry was collapsing. Where do I go and what do I do? And I was able to do that through the connections that I had, through quality connections that I really strived to keep in my life. And those connections ended up being just an absolute massive win for me. And my career's been off to the races ever since.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good story you share there. Is there a quote that you heard that you want to share to our listeners out there that kind of tops your mind?
There's so many that come to mind, but I would just say that, I was told a long time ago that Lady Luck is attracted to the man of action. And I find that to be the case, that it's not a coincidence that if you really work hard and do all the things that nobody else wants to do in business, that suddenly you become very fortunate in all these things. There's all this abundance that appears, that seems lucky, but in reality, of course, it's the action of going out there and doing it. So, yeah.
Okay. Is there a mistake you did in real estate that you regret? I know you've been in business, in 07, but is there something that sticks out that you might have made a mistake or regret?
I wish that I had taken the advice that I gave my clients along the way to buy more real estate.
Yeah.
And to buy it a long time ago. It seemed, and I think this is relevant because to your listeners, because it seemed at the time that real estate was really expensive, and that it seemed so risky to try to take on investment properties and second homes and all of that. And the reality is, looking back, real estate in our area has tripled since that time, and it would have such a great investment, and it still feels expensive. But I think if we look forward another 20, 25 years, we'll probably see another massive increase in real estate.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Okay.
So it's always scary, but the advice I give people is let's reallocate some of your income or some of your assets into
Yeah.
real estate in a way that I can help manage.
Well, they say it's kind
The
of like a
most,
cycle of like 10 years, I guess. I mean, and I've been almost at 8 and I kind of see it. When I first came in, it was, really good and went down a little bit. Now here where I think the lowest that I've been in it. So, but yeah, I guess they say it goes in waves and cycles. So I guess it's true.
it's not much of a cycle. I mean, you look at most assets, set classes like stocks and
Mhm.
bonds and things like that, and you're going to see real significant changes. We haven't really seen a significant change. What we saw just recently was this plateau and a little bit of softening, depending on the market that you're in.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the Bay Area, it's been a lot more stable than in other parts of the
Yeah.
country. We aren't doing that. But it's still, I think that to your point, though, there are these ebbs and flows of real estate values. And there's, you're not limited just because we live in California, we're not limited to just buying real estate in California.
Yeah.
It could be a
Right.
great time to buy real estate somewhere else. So,
Mhm.
and I'm licensed in all 50 states. So I'm always happy to help out wherever the client is
Yeah.
needing to do work.
But let me ask you this, Jim, what do you watch nowadays on Netflix or TV that you like watching as far as TV shows and stuff?
I just saw what I thought was entertaining and kind of a smart show, and that's Your Friends and Neighbors.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
It's funny.
It's on Netflix or Apple? Or what's network is it on?
Huh, I don't
Okay.
know. I'm a terrible TV guide.
Oh,
It's I think it's Apple. Your Friends and Neighbors.
okay.
Really, really well done. It illustrates this guy's life who was doing very, very well in a
Mhm.
hedge fund and then got fired. Ended up his wife leaving him, kind of his whole life kind of crumbled, but he
Yeah.
had to kind of his image, and he had to maintain because he's still looking for a job. And so he kind of takes a bad turn and makes some bad decisions that
Yeah.
are incredibly entertaining. I highly encourage it. It's a lot of fun. And the other show that I've seen all the way through and I really, really enjoyed was Suits. Just a lot of, also very smart and entertaining, in law firm, takes place in a law firm. I just really like I like so many aspects of that show. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I've seen Suits, a couple episodes. Yeah, it's pretty good. Funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What's your walk-up theme song, Jim, when you come out to the audience? What do you come
So,
out to?
I would probably say Metallica, Enter
Okay.
Sandman. Yeah,
What song?
Enter Sandman.
Oh, okay. I've heard that one. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure you have. Everybody's heard that.
A lot of
So
closers have that song when they come out to the game. I think a couple of A's players had that. That was their
that's
song.
what,
Yeah.
that's what, yeah. It's a pretty popular walk-up song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Get you going. Cool.
Yep.
What's your, I know you golf a little bit here and there, but who's on your golf Mount Rushmore of golfers out there?
Mount Rushmore of golfers. I would say Tiger, Rory,
Yeah.
Scotty, Jack, and Happy. You got to
Happy
have
Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see a second movie yet?
Yeah, I saw the second movie. It was highly sponsored by U.S. Bank. We're all over the place in that movie. So,
Oh, okay. So you got like endorsements or tickets or any merchandise? No.
a lot of fun. You'll see U.S. Bank everywhere on the bibs, on the
Oh,
tee
cool.
box. Yeah,
That's cool.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Let's check it out. Great movie.
Cool. What do you think about the Live Golf, and then you have the other one, or PGA? What do you think about those both tournaments?
It's
Have you watched-
interesting, from a business perspective, which is really, I'm way more versed in business than I am in golf. But from a business perspective, it's totally legit. Look, create another one. Be competitive.
Mhm.
I think they kind of push the limit on a lot of this stuff as far as how they recruited people, but sometimes you have to do that in business. Business is not always super clean and easy.
Yeah.
So,
And money talks.
money talks. At the end of the day, if they're worth it and it makes sense for everybody, I'm supportive of it. I'm very much a free market guy. So,
Okay.
fall on that side.
Okay. So who's your GOAT in all of golf? Who do you have up there?
Oh, in all of golf, I really like the older guys. In golf itself, I like Jack Nicklaus. But, I think when I think of sports and I think of kind of like the broader, just at the industry, I really look to the leadership of sports. And I like those that I followed for a long time. Sandy Alderson, who was an executive at the A's and then went on to be the president of the Mets. Had some other stops along the way as well, but he was very smart in the way that he put his teams together, both from a overall operational efficiency, bringing down the cost of
Yeah.
running the team, as well as creating wins and
Hmm.
creating excitement in the team. So I'm more fascinated with the leadership. I know I'm a terrible sports fan when it comes to actually like following, but I do like sports because I like sports is very close to business. It feels a lot the same, and I like the
Yeah.
leadership perspective that you can see in sports.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this. What's something you did in the pandemic that you do today that you still use today that you did before?
What we're doing right now. So working from home
Yeah.
today.
Okay.
uh, So built out a home office that also functions as my guitar room, as my yoga room, as my
Okay.
TV room, and my wine cellar all in one.
Nice.
So absolutely love the space. And I use it a lot. And I don't
Yeah.
just use it a little bit and store a bunch of junk there the way some people I've seen do, but really it's my space. And
Yeah.
I get, I'm able to go straight from a swim or a workout and drop right into work without the whole, driving to an office and being isolated in an office. And I just feel that I'm more involved with the community and with people. I can easily jump in my car and go to a bank branch or to go meet a real estate agent or a client, a
Yeah.
wealth advisor. There's all these. I just feel a little bit more nimble and a little bit
Yeah.
more engaged.
Cool.
So I still do. Yeah.
Um,
What about you?
j-
What do you do?
um, during the pandemic that I picked up,
Yeah.
well, I did, I would say probably like this stuff, like a Zoom and things like that. I keep doing. Um, I
Good.
started gaming, and then that brought me back to gaming more. It was kind of like a thing to just
Okay.
unplug and get away from things, but that was kind of thing I did. But I golfed
Good.
more too during the pandemic. Like probably got a lot better during golf was during the pandemic.
Nice.
We couldn't play basketball stuff about 3 times a week. We go out there and play, and so I was able to work on my drive and things I could do. So it's totally saw improvement in that. As far as that and jet skiing, I did as a hobby
Yeah.
around the Delta.
That's fun.
So it kind of a things I picked up activities. So yeah,
Good. Good. Yeah, that's great. I can't believe we haven't played golf. We're gonna have to do that, Stephen.
we'll have to. Yeah, we'll have to. Uh, Jim, what's your dream car? Do you have one?
I love German cars. I have a soft spot for German cars. Absolutely love
Okay.
them. But I think I've always admired Ferrari, not just because of the beauty of the car,
Yeah.
but also kind of the way they do business and the way
Yeah.
you have to be. They just released a new model that they made 799 units, and you can't just go buy one. They're like $4 million. You can't just go
Yeah.
buy one because you have to be invited by Ferrari to buy that
Yeah.
car.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's very interesting to see how they generate a lot of profits
Yeah.
and do it in a way that's very elegant.
Were you
But
at that
it's
car show in Monterey? Were you over there?
I think, oh, I
No.
really wanted to go that. Did you see they had a $50 million Ferrari
No, I didn't hear
at
about
the
that. Wow, they have one of those. Wow. Okay.
yeah, they call it
That's
the white unicorn. Yeah.
wow.
It was the only, I think 50 units, roughly 50 units made,
Wow.
and it's the only one that's white. So up units, and it's in pristine shape. It's an older car, and a lot of great cars there at the car show. I have to make it one of these years.
Yeah.
Every year I seem to go, and then I end up busy. So
Hmm.
we'll get
So
there.
what's your thoughts on the EV car? Have you been in one? What do you think on that as far as the future with EV cars and stuff?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of them because
Hmm.
when I drive them, they kind of make me nauseous. I don't know
Okay.
why that is, but some
Yeah.
people that I've driven Tesla and Lucid and some of the others, and the people that
A
I've talked
Rivian?
to
You
that
been a Rivian yet or no?
haven't been in a Rivian. I mean, these are all beautiful cars. They're
Yeah.
amazing technology and they're unbelievably fast. But it turns out a lot of people have this thing where we get kind of nauseous in a
Hmm.
EV car. I guess it burns off eventually and you get used to it. But I just am, I'm someone that really likes the sound of
Hmm.
gas. And I think, um, I'm all about finding ways to be efficient in the environment for sure. And I think we can continue to do a better job of that. But I don't think that means just going EV. That only
Yeah.
solves part of the problem, but it
Yeah.
creates a whole nother problem with the rare earths. And then what do you do with the spent batteries and things like that? So
Yeah.
it's, yes, it helps the air quality, but it creates all these other problems. So I think that
Yeah.
I think the technology in the cars that we will be driving is not yet on the road on a regular basis. I'm interested and I'm watching hydrogen. I think that's really fascinating.
Okay. Hydrogen. Okay. That's the next thing coming up, huh? As far as cars, hydrogen cars?
Yeah. Have you seen
Or
any of those?
no,
Yeah. It's very interesting. Yeah. Take a look.
I will.
The emissions is water.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they actually, you have water coming out the tailpipe, just
Okay.
regular water.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Let me ask you this. If you go back in time, Jim, what age would you go back at and live at if you could go back in time?
I mean, I've been really blessed. I've had a great life, very
Hmm.
happy life. I would say 10 years old. 10 years old was that age where, for me, I was still a kid when I wanted to be, and I'd play and I'd just have a lot of fun with my brothers. I got four
Hmm.
brothers,
Yeah.
and at the same time, my mind was kind of blossoming with all kinds of curiosity and ideas of,
Yeah.
business and I was interested in real estate. I was, interested in bikes and everything else that kids are into. It was just a fun, fascinating time and safe. It felt very safe. I didn't have as much worry as, the older we get more worry, but 10 was a
Yeah.
great age.
Gotcha. Cool. I think I've heard 10 before, and 12 I've heard, and teen, and then sophomore, junior year, senior year I heard for school. So yeah, but it's been around
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Do you have a field trip you did as a kid that you went on, Jim?
I do. So it was the redwoods, going to the redwoods here in Northern California. Just remembering how massive the redwoods were, and kind of just blew my mind to see them, just these trees that just grow to the sky. Yeah, the field trip was the redwoods, the giant redwoods in Northern
Okay.
California. It kind of blew my mind at how massive
Hmm.
they were, how old they were, and just that, looking up at them, it inspired a lot of thought and creativity.
Okay. Let me ask you this. I'm guessing you're in the baby boomers, or right? I'm guessing, or maybe Gen X.
I'm an Xer. Go
Okay.
easy on me, man.
I'm trying
I've been in the mortgage business, so I look like hell for
to.
money.
Okay. So being a Gen X, and with the technology, is today you got ChatGPT, you got Chat AI, and then kids today with the iPads and things at the fingertips. What are your thoughts on that whole impact and how it is today with the kids and past and present?
I think that AI is a really powerful tool that can be both good and bad. I think we all
Hmm.
know that. Uh, I talk a lot about with my kids and with their friends about being on the right side of AI, which means putting AI to work for you to make your job more efficient. If you don't do that, then you're at risk of AI replacing your job,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And so if we really look at where this is all going, Alexander Wang of Scale AI had said that he sees that what we'll be doing when we come to work in the next few years is we will have several AI agents that we will give assignments to, and they will be out doing that work for us a lot more efficiently than we can do
Mm.
it. And I think that's an important mindset on how to think about AI,
Yeah.
and so that we're using it to help. I think that there's a lot of younger first time buyers who have this false sense of knowledge and confidence from the AI, from the information.
Hmm.
And I've literally seen where people have taken all of my advice, an hour long conversation of advice, put it into the chat and send it back to me with the chat results. What I can help with, I mean, again, there's some tools in that make sense, but there's a lot of that doesn't, it's not in the context of that
Hmm.
individual for the broader life and goals of what they're trying to achieve. And so I would just caution someone to not get too dependent on AI, but rather to use it as a tool to help with some of the tasks that they need and some of the thinking and research that they can do. But when it really comes to important decisions like real estate, finance, I don't think there's any substitute for the human connection.
Is there a movie that you recently watched that you liked that you thought was good or bad?
Yeah. I liked The Accountant 2.
Oh, okay.
I saw the first
Okay.
one, saw The Accountant 2. It was really
Okay.
good, really, really good acting and a great
Yeah.
storyline.
Okay.
So kind of another smart movie, makes you think a
Yeah.
lot. It's
Okay.
great.
That's cool. Have you ever experienced a 40X yet? if that was in 40X or not. The
Oh, what?
40X movie where the seats kind of move.
I don't know what that
So
is.
the seats, I think Regal has them with IMAX. The seats kind of move.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like F1 was like that. Jurassic Rebirth was like that. I don't think your accountant was,
I
but
haven't been to the movies.
oh,
I haven't been to a movie theater in a
okay,
long time.
yeah. But the seats
Yeah,
not.
kind of set it up at
Yeah,
home, and we're happy with what we
gotcha.
got.
Okay. Are you an Apple or Android guy, Jim?
Apple
Yeah.
all day.
So when
Yeah.
you hear the,
What about
I'm an
you?
Apple guy as well. So
Yeah,
when you see the green bubble, what do you think of when it comes to mind?
the green bubble. You mean for like text
Yeah,
messages?
yeah.
I think of text
Okay,
messages.
okay. People are like, "Oh, that's an Android coming through," or they're like, So
Oh,
yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this: you want to share a tip of the week, business tip, life tip for our listeners out there?
yes. So, Stephen, if I could get every homeowner in a room, I would give them a piece of advice that would apply to every single one of
Okay.
them. And it's simply this: arrange for credit when you don't need it. The rule of banking is if you wait until you need the money, the banks are a lot less likely to give it
Yeah.
to you. Or if they do, it's going to be at higher
Yeah.
rates. So there's no reason to not get a home equity line of credit on every piece of real estate that you own if you can. You don't pay interest on it until you actually borrow the money, but it's there for you when you need it. And when people need it, in my 25 years of doing this, people are saying, "Oh, I'm really good at my career. I'm an attorney. I'm a tech guy. I'm a whatever." And they're very confident in their career. And then something comes along. Could be the company they work for. It could be the business cycle, or it could be health issues that disrupts that income stream. And when the income stream is disrupted, banks don't want to make a loan. Our loans, our mortgages are not on a property. We're betting on the borrower to make the money. We secure our loan to the property for sure, but the loan is on the borrower. And if that borrower doesn't have the ability to generate income, it would be irresponsible for us to make the loan. So arrange for that when you don't need it so that if you do need it, you don't have to ask the bank for it. You just draw it down, you get through whatever you're going through, and then you can pay it back and remove that interest cost.
Okay, cool. Let me ask you this. If you could pick someone to sit down and eat with dead or alive, who would it be?
So I have a lot of respect for Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney. I think he's just shown this tremendous.
I heard he's stepping down. I heard.
And
I heard he's
what's
stepping
that?
down. Is that true? I think he's stepping down from the job. I think.
Well, so he had a contract that was supposed to go for a couple of years, and they keep extending it because he's in his 70s. I think he's 73 or 74. He looks great. He sounds great. He's sharp as ever. I think he's got more experience and more composure than ever. So, as a Disney shareholder, I would say I can't imagine a better CEO. I hope he lasts as CEO a long time. I think he's a really interesting guy. And you just look at the way that he, the whole ESPN acquisition and integration and all the sports betting and all that stuff. And, all that kind of comes together, but you wouldn't think of that with Disney. But here's this really smart guy who's looking at all these pieces and able to make it all coalesce into just a really great brand.
Yeah, I think he's the first guy I've heard nominated on this show to eat with. So that's kind of cool.
The show what?
To eat with on my show. No one's mentioned him as far as to eat with. So yeah, you're the first to nominate or to eat. To put him as one to eat with.
He's a smart guy.
If you're stuck on an elevator, who would you be stuck in the elevator with, Jim?
Shakira. Why not?
Cool. So we're gonna have someone singing to you and all that dancing and all that stuff. Okay.
Sure.
Let me ask you this. We go to the sports question. Favorite team and player? Could be any sport player that you like or follow.
So growing up, I was a huge Oakland A's fan, and I still am, although they're leaving me. So I'm kind of a sports fan, a baseball fan, not a great fan, but a fan looking for a team. But it's still the Oakland A's that comes to mind. And I always enjoyed watching, the players at that time. Billy Martin was the coach, and he was quite the character. We would go to the games partly just to see Billy Martin go off on the umps. But from a player, I always enjoyed watching Wayne Gross in third base. And I've gotten to know him, and he's an amazing guy. So I have to say Wayne Gross.
And Wayne Gross was on the A's? And
yeah.
All right.
For quite some time.
Cool. Did you follow wrestling as a kid? Favorite wrestler comes to mind. What's your thoughts on that?
I didn't watch it a lot, but it was kind of frowned upon in the family to watch something
Yeah.
like that because it was a little violent. But, we're boys, we
Yeah.
watch it. Hulk Hogan comes to mind from a wrestler
Yeah.
perspective. Just, rest in peace, Hulk. He was
Yeah. He
just
was good.
it's sad to see him go, but he was a
Yeah.
force.
It was definitely my childhood. People I saw a lot, idols, I guess, through the years.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah.
What advice would you give yourself at 12 years old?
Probably to get comfortable being uncomfortable. It was, 12 years old is right as you have all the, kind of influences and teasing from all the kids and brothers in my situation. But you have like this just kind of, am I doing things right? You start questioning yourself. I would say, just where I've done my own personal growth has grown the
Mhm.
most is in that whenever I can be uncomfortable trying something
Mhm.
new, putting myself out there and being, a little bit more vulnerable. And I kind of wish that I had that I could give myself that advice
Okay.
when
Right.
now I give it myself that advice at 12.
Gotcha.
So
All right.
yeah,
Cool.
push the
Yeah.
limits.
Jim, how long have you been a homeowner for, and what do you like about the city you live in? If you want to share that with us.
So I've been a homeowner for about 30 years, a little over 30 years. I live in San Ramon and I absolutely love the city. There's a lot of
Mhm.
diversity. There's a lot of community. There's a lot of safety. It feels safe. It feels comfortable. And what I notice most is that when I'm traveling, I miss home. That's how I know that it's the right
Gotcha.
place. Like it's a really good spot for
Yeah.
me because we've got such great weather and great
Yeah.
people and great, restaurants and amenities and everything else. It's beautiful. The trees here are
Yeah.
unbelievably beautiful. And I miss it when we travel.
That's a good perspective for your sharing your thoughts on that. It's pretty good to have the insights there.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Okay. What would you be doing for work if you weren't in the real estate industry? Do you have a thing that you might have been doing, a job or something industry you might do instead of this? You won't do this stuff.
So I've always, I kind of wish that I had taken up an offer that I had many years ago in financial advising and wealth
Mhm.
management. I think
Yeah.
it's still very interesting
Yeah.
to me. And I follow it very closely and use it in my
Yeah.
daily work. Most of my work is with wealth management customers. So it feeds in perfectly into what I do
Yeah.
every day. But I think the actual work of providing the overall financial advice, not just lending, but the overall financial advice is very
Mhm.
interesting to me.
Okay.
I should also say that there's this creative side of me that I'm always trying to like spin all these different ideas. And during COVID, the family started a clothing brand.
Oh, okay.
We ended up shutting it down this year, but we actually had it for several years where we were designing. We all got into wake
Oh, wow.
surfing up at the lake, and we spend the month of July pretty much at the lake wake surfing every morning. And then I go right into work. But what I noticed is that when you wake surf, right, you tend to put on board shorts, ocean board
Mhm.
shorts. Yet in the ocean, when you surf, you go head first. So nice big baggy shorts works great. You take big baggy
Yeah.
shorts and put that into the lake where everything is feet
Yeah.
first, skiing, wakeboarding, wake surfing. It doesn't work so
Yeah.
well. So we created a whole brand around solving that problem and still making it look sharp, feel good, work well, all that stuff. So we developed it from the ground up and it was a ton of work, a lot of learning, but it was just creating too much distraction from what I
Mhm.
do and had to put a lid on it. But I still think that like if I didn't have to work, if there was just unlimited
Yeah.
funds and I was looking for something to do, I'd probably end up doing something in style or clothing or lifestyle of some
Mm,
sort. There's something that,
cool. I didn't know you were a clothes designer.
yeah, it's one of those little facts I thought I'd surprise you
Yeah,
with.
it's good. Um, do you have a favorite video game or board game that you played growing up or nowadays that you like?
I like Balderdash.
Both are d-
Have you ever played that? Okay, so we got to play that. It's a game where you can you kind of have to be a good BSer,
Okay. Oh,
and
it's like BS.
the
I heard
better
the
the
game BS.
BSer you
Okay.
are,
All right. Okay.
yeah, it's kind of along those
Yeah.
lines. But the more you can really confidently sell people on a wrong answer, the better off you
Yeah.
are. So it's a lot of fun.
Okay. Let me ask you this. What's your drink of choice, Jim?
I'm a wine
Okay.
guy.
Red or
I
white
love good wine and
or prefer?
mostly
Okay.
red. Yeah, I collect a lot of wine, and it's just a kind of a fun hobby.
Okay. What's a guilty pleasure, Jim? Do you have one you want to share with us? Do you have one?
A guilty
Yeah.
pleasure would have to be listening to Colby Calais.
Colby Calais. Yeah.
I don't know if you don't know Colby
No.
Calais. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of the opposite of Metallica.
Gotcha.
Let's put it
Okay.
that way. Opposite of my walk-up song.
Okay.
But I was able to meet her, and she's really a
Oh,
delightful
cool.
person, and I think her voice is super cool, and so there you
Okay.
go. That's my guilty
All right.
pleasure.
You got a favorite emoji that you share with people?
Or a
Or
GIF.
GIF? Yeah.
Kind of a GIF
Yeah.
thing. Steve Harvey,
Okay.
also somebody that I met and I think is
Yeah.
a really funny guy.
No,
So
Steve Harvey.
the Steve Harvey laugh
Okay.
is something that I use a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a GIF you send to people?
It's a GIF. I was on Family Feud with him
Okay.
and about 5 years ago. Well, I guess more than that, 7 years
Okay.
ago. And we had a great time, and he's really quite an impressive
That's
guy.
cool. And Family Feud. I learned two things: your clothes designer and then
Yeah.
Family Feud. So that's cool.
You keep going, man. I got all kinds of surprises for you.
Okay, here's one, Jim. Now, someone that'd be good guest for me to put on the show and interview could probably be. Do you anybody that I can reach out to? Or?
Well, I'm not connected to this
Okay.
person, but you should have him on
Yeah.
the show if you can get him, because you're a sports
Yeah.
guy. You're a real estate guy. You're a business guy. Michael Jordan,
Okay.
man.
Shoot for the
If you can
stars,
get him
right?
on the show,
Yeah.
get him on.
Shoot for the stars, right?
He's really an interesting guy.
We'll see what I can do. Maybe pull some
You know,
strings.
the reading. Yeah, see what you can do on that.
And then what's something on your bucket list you want to do?
I'd like to learn how to fly airplanes. Yeah. My son, who's 21, he learned while he was in high school.
Wow.
And so we kind of focused on letting him get through that and now college. But I think it's something, as life gets a little bit less congested for me, I think it's something I'd like to throw myself into. And
I know a couple
really
pilots that do that. Like you'll fly the little prop planes or little small ones you're talking about, or you want to do like little private jets, small planes?
Small planes. Yeah. Small planes, be able to fly around, California and maybe Western states. I think it'd be fun.
Cool. And then, Jim, how do we follow you on social media, get in touch with you if you want to, find you and stuff and reach out to you? How do we find you?
So I don't do a whole lot of social media. I am active on LinkedIn.
Okay.
As a banker, we have a lot of regulations around this stuff. So there's not a lot of my own individual thoughts and content. Some of it there is. But if it's posted anywhere, it's probably LinkedIn.
Okay.
And it's just Jim Gallup. You'll see me. If you just remember that Gallup is with a U
Got
P.
it. Okay.
A lot of people like to spell it like I'm a horse. I'm not.
Cool. So we are on Spotify.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So we are on Spotify. You can follow us on there. We're on YouTube. We're on TikTok. We're on Facebook, Instagram, all that for the past and present episodes from On the Spot. If you have a question about the real estate market or loans, you can reach out to me or Jim. Here to help you and see real estate through a new lens. Any final words, Jim, before we get out of here?
I would just say I appreciate you, Stephen. I appreciate your interest in people. I appreciate how genuinely you want to help when you're in a real estate transaction, the creativity you put into it, and the hard work. So I appreciate the inspiration.
Thanks a lot, Jim. And from On the Spot, we're out of here.
Right on. Keep up the good work.
All right. Cool. That was good.